Hello and welcome to this episode of Tripology. It's the backpacking podcast you would land on if you went through all the other backpacking podcasts on Spotify and tried to choose one that you actually liked. I'm Alun and I'm here with the ever-linguistic Adam.
Thank you so much for joining us for another week, guys. We're really pleased to have you back. And if it's your first episode of Tripology, then welcome. I'm in New Zealand. Alun's in Japan, and today we've got a wicked show. Alun, you're going to tell us a little anecdote in the Patreon section. That's the Lost and Found. That's where the show continues. I'll leave a link in the description. But today there is a little Japanese language quiz for Monsieur Alun over there. How are you feeling, my friend?
Yeah, you have to drag me kicking and streaming to these records when I know that there's a sort of quiz going on. Contrary to popular belief, I'm actually a very shy and nervous man, and the thought of embarrassing myself on the internet pains me no end, so I'm not looking forward to the quiz.
Well, just to take your mind off it for a brief second, it is quite a sad announcement today because this cabin that I'm in, that I've been living in for the last 5 or 6 weeks, not only is this going to be the last recording in this cabin, but it's probably going to be the last recording in New Zealand because I am a few days away from leaving this wonderful country that I've lived in for the last 14 months.
Have you booked a flight?
Haven't booked a flight. That was such a sincere, genuine reaction to that announcement.
Yeah, well, I'm a sincere and genuine man.
Yeah, I saw that, not the panic on your face, but sort of, the eyebrows were raised. You were like, oh shit, he's booked a flight and he hasn't told me. I haven't booked a flight yet, actually. But
actually, I was shocked at the professionalism because I realize now what you're doing is that this episode is pre-recorded and will be released in a couple of weeks. So you were thinking ahead and trying to space it out. And I was just shocked that you were being so professional. So it caught me off guard.
In order to remain authentic, I try and be as unprofessional as possible most of the time. I haven't, but I am getting ever closer to knowing where I'm going. So even now, I don't really know where I'm going to go next, but it is going to be edging ever closer to you. But this apartment, mate, this apartment is very generous, but this cabin has been where I've been living on the edge of a vineyard. I have got a picture, actually, of the vineyard that I've been living on. Maybe I'll post that on Instagram. Keep your eyes peeled for that. But it's like difficult to not be sad about what's going on because New Zealand, even though, I've got a few gripes, maybe I'll mention one of those. Actually, something funny happened to me this morning, so I'll mention one of those in the Lost and Found section. But it's just been exactly what I needed at the time that I needed it. So I've loved it here.
And how long have you been there for now?
14 months. So
too long, really, to be in any one place, in my opinion. But I've always thought about your shack that it looks very ramshackle. I almost imagine that you've just sort of put up a board with a curtain on it and you're actually outside.
What, is that because you've heard the raw audio and you think you must be outside because it's fucking awful?
It just has the look of sort of a hastily made bit of set dressing for like a stage musical or something to indicate the idea of indoors without any of the four walls.
Well, it's not too different from that, mate. It is basically a glorified shed. When I arrived here, I spoke to the guy I've been working for and he said, I know you've got a van that you can live in, but we have also got a cabin on the edge of the vineyard. You're more than welcome to use it. I have been paying to live here, by the way. And when I got here, it was a shed with a bunk bed in it and literally nothing else. And there are very, very basic kitchen facilities in an office, which is like a 2-minute walk over the vineyard, which is next to a bathroom. So, I mean, if I want to do anything after dark, there's no lights here whatsoever. And I'm in like, not quite a dark sky area, but it's pretty dark. I usually try and do my last little wee at about 6 p.m. when the sun goes down, and then so I don't have to leave because it's getting bloody cold, by the way. Everything else.
You have quite a strong bladder, I think. I've noticed that about you in the past, and that's all I want to say about it. Sorry to the audio listeners, but what does happen if you open that curtain behind you?
What happens? You want me to do it live on air?
Yeah, I'll describe it. There's a sort of grey curtain that I've always been wondering about, and Adam's just opening it for me now.
It's got vines on it,
and
you probably can't see that.
Behind it is...
So if I open the curtain, it's literally just...
Oh my god! It's just a
window. It's the sliding door.
Oh, so I can see your phone and light being reflected in it. Well, that was uninteresting. Close that and let's get on with the show.
Mate, I'm going to lead into this tripping point. All the Tripping Point fans will be jumping with joy knowing that we've got a special Japanese language quiz that I've rustled up for you this morning. I had more fun finding out the answers to these questions, even though I already knew some of them. Spoiler alert.
Great.
Than any other.
Vagabot helped you, did he?
There was a couple of blogs, couple of YouTube videos, making sure there was pronunciations and other websites.
New
and
listeners,
stuff.
of which there are many, won't know that we have a travelling AI called Vagabot who helps us with some of the rudimentary runnings of the show. Helps you mainly, actually. He's scarcely to be found when I need an editor, but when you need someone to come up with tripping point questions, he seems all up in your shit.
I mean, no one listening to this show wants to listen or watch an episode that Adam's edited. Let's be honest. Not currently.
I disagree, and since you brought it up, I would like to take this opportunity to poll the listeners. There's a poll function on Spotify. Would we all like to hear an episode edited by Adam? I think the answer is probably a resounding yes. Go and vote now and let us know what you think. Adam is a bright talent. He's got light behind his eyes. He's got very nimble fingers and a strong bladder to boot. And I think that he would be able to edit an episode deftly.
All the makings of a great editor.
Yeah, I think that you might be good. So I'd like to nominate you and see if the listeners, what they say. If the listeners say, we're not interested, we want the episodes as is, then that's fine. I'll keep on doing it. But if there's a market for it, mate, I think you should step up to the base.
There's probably people listening to this now thinking, well, hang on, Alan can't surely be editing every single episode. There are about 185 episodes in. It's been going for 3.5 years. I've got news for you guys. He has. He's edited every single episode.
Have those same listeners noticed that I've aged in those 3 years and you're like a little Dorian Gray? Like, just staying exactly the same. That'll be why then, will it?
But you know what they say, mate? If you want something done, give it to someone who's busy. And I don't know anyone who's busier than you. And that's exactly what we're going to do with this Japanese quiz. So you have been in Japan now for how many weeks?
Since the 1st of April, and on the day of recording, it's the 2nd of May. So a month and 2 days.
Perfect. That is almost exactly to the day the amount of days that I've spent in Japan over my 3 trips. So you should know exactly as much Japanese as I do.
Well, I think we all know that that's absolutely fallacious on account of the fact that you tried to learn Japanese and I get a rash whenever I try and speak any other language other than the Queen's English. And that's not me. I'm not proud of that fact. I think it's awful.
Do you think that the fact that you speak English to such a high level and have a degree in English language is maybe the reason why you haven't flirted with other languages?
I've definitely flirted with other languages. I've just not tried to speak them myself. I don't think that's the reason. No, I think it's a combination of laziness and also I don't like to be bad at things for long.
Right.
And I think that languages are one of those things that you have to survive being bad a lot in order to get good.
But what about surfing? You weren't an expert at that at the beginning, were you?
Yeah, now I've stopped surfing, you'll notice.
Yeah, okay, fair
and
enough.
Let's face it, people who are sitting at home going, oh, but you don't have to be bad at languages. You don't have to go out and talk in the language. You can practice at home. You can do Duolingo. That little prick of a green owl wearing a graduation cap for what I can only assume is years after his graduation, popping up on your screen, giving you grief the whole time. I tried to learn Spanish with that guy briefly. He put me off because every day he was like flashing up with his little green face and yellow beak and his graduation cap going like, oh, hola, why don't you come and learn Spanish? You're a lazy guy. You've not done it today. Leave me alone. I'll do it at my own time. I was planning on doing it a little bit later on.
So if anyone at Duolingo or even Babbel or any other language learning app wants to work with us, we're very interested.
Oh, yeah.
One half of us is. And it's basically first come, first serve. And I'll learn a language on your app, tell you exactly what I think, and we'll sort of go for a huge year-long sponsorship as a result.
Yeah, you've always wanted that. Since we very first started the podcast, you had your sights set on like language learning apps. And I've always admired that about you. We didn't get any.
Yeah, because like usual, I didn't do anything about it.
Yeah. Whereas, everyone, if you need a sleep mask, then man to sleep.
Let us know. All right, well, everyone's sort of chomping at the bit to hear this theme music, so let's get into it, guys. It's Tripping Point. Tripping point. Right, Alan, here we are, my friend. Put those chopsticks down, put your kimono back on, and get in the mood for this Japanese language quiz. Now, I've tried to make them medium difficulty. Is that all right? Medium difficulty for someone who doesn't know any Japanese. How are we feeling?
When I arrived in Japan, I committed to learning one word a day, and that lasted for exactly 2 days. And on the third day, I woke up and all day intended to learn my third word. Someone briefly mentioned a word to me. By the end of that conversation, I'd forgotten it. And by the end of the day, it had not been learnt. On day 4, I didn't try.
Okay. Do you remember what any of the words were? I assume they were just days of the week.
Hello and thank you. Konnichiwa. Arigatou gozaimasu. That's all I can say.
Okay. All right. Well, just bear those in mind because one of them might feature in today's quiz. But play along at home, guys, and just let us know in the comments if you know any of these, if the quiz was too hard or not hard enough. And we always like to put something on the line, don't we, mate? So we were talking very briefly about the Shinkansen, which is the bullet train, for anyone who doesn't know. If you get 3 out of 5, also including the bonus questions, so that's kind of 6. There might even be a little cheeky extra bonus in there, so probably do 7. 3 out of 7, I'll pay for us to go on a little, either a day trip or a weekend trip, depending on how much time you have, on the Shinkansen. Sound good?
Yeah. It does. I'm realising about you that you're quite a wily cat because we did talk and we were like, wow, this is going to be the biggest stakes of Tripping Point history. You're actually going to be in the same place as me and you're going to pay for a Shinkansen. And then you've come the next day with a Tripping Point, which specifically targets my weakest knowledge set and your strongest knowledge set. So it's as if I said, okay, money where my mouth is. I'm gonna pay you $100 on this week's quiz. It's going to be on the UFC. It's like you've really threaded the needle of your strengths and my weaknesses. So you're a wily character. A lot of people underestimate that about you because you seem all innocent and sweet and you live in an MDF cabin that looks like a stage musical backdrop. But you are, in fact, quite wily.
Well, why don't we make this slightly more even then? I've said the stakes. It's sort of a weekend away in a Shinkansen to a destination yet unknown. And you can choose how many questions you have to get right.
Well, you said 3, did you?
I said 3, which is less than half.
I've never been one to back down from a challenge. I don't want to. I'm going to go 3 as well.
Okay, so there you have it, guys. If you want to skip the last 2 minutes of the episode, we understand. Here we go. Question number 1.
Just a little argument.
That will continue on in the Patreon section. Links in the description. Question number 1. Here we go. Japanese uses 3 main writing scripts. What are they?
Fucking hell.
I'm afraid, mate, there's no multiple choice.
Oh, fuck off, Adam.
This is it.
I don't know. I know kanji.
That's 1. You just got to get 2.
Yeah, thanks. That's the one I know. I don't know the others, though.
Have we reached an impasse already?
Yeah, what am I going to say? I can't just make up vaguely Japanese-sounding words. That's going to be racist.
Well, don't worry. I'm going to end up doing some pronunciations that are, probably pretty offensive. My most offensive.
Yeah, what's going to happen if I try and guess the other 2 now? Is there one that begins with M, maybe? I mean, I don't know, mate. I'm sorry. Kanji is the one. Oh, hold on.
Uh-oh. Here he goes. He's having an idea. Live on air. Careful.
Oh, this is what I love about my brain.
Yeah.
Is one called Kanaka?
Oh, you're bloody close. I reckon that if we can all.
Kamaka?
No, you're very close, but not close enough for you to probably evolve that into what it is. You tell me when you want to move on.
No. I want to spend some time on this.
We need to try and draw this episode out.
I'm at the bank. They asked for my name. I've told it them, but they need to do it like phonetically,
right?
Because they need to like do the script,
yes,
so that they can pronounce it, and they're going to write it in.
So you're trying to think of the writing script they use for loan words. So these are words that aren't Japanese. They're words that have been imported into the language that they would use typically in modern times, and as such need to use a different writing script.
I don't know. You've just shunted it out of my head. Go on, what is it?
Katakana. So,
Oh, yeah, katakana.
and the other one is hiragana.
Of course, hiragana. Yeah.
I imagine that most Japanese words are written in a combination of hiragana and kanji characters.
Yeah.
And then, of course, katakana. So I think something like neuroscientist would be written in loaned words.
Go on. And how would a Japanese person say that?
In my most offensive Japanese accent, neuroscientist. Something along those lines. But that might be complete bollocks. Please don't quote me on that. But I think Coca-Cola would be written in katakana.
I'm going to come across as a very ignorant man in this quiz. I just need people to understand that I've come to Japan and I've immediately been thrust into quite intense working environments in English, and I've just not had the time.
That's fine, mate. You've been there for 1 month, really. 4 weeks and a few days, or 5 weeks, or whatever. So, you've got time. You're going to be there for a year. If I gave you this quiz at the end of your year in Japan, maybe you could be a bit harder on yourself. But I think just relax and enjoy it. All right? Number 2. Yeah. We'll get there. Kanji are logographic Chinese characters adopted into the Japanese writing system. But how many characters are there? A, 1,000 to 2,000. B, 5,000 to 10,000, or C, 40,000 to 50,000?
C, 40,000 to 50,000.
Nailed it. You're on the board. Okay. Here we go. Did you know that, or did I do a different voice for the last one to make sure you got it right?
I've read your mind.
Here's the bonus question. Learning how many characters is recommended in order to comfortably read a Japanese newspaper?
30,000.
Far less, which is going to be
10.
No, it's even less than that as well. It's about 2,000, 2,000 to 3,000, and you can read a Japanese newspaper.
No, I meant 10.
10 just 10 characters. Newspapers the same story every single week. Just one just
dog, fox.
Threat of a mega earthquake. Yeah. I think there is at the moment, mate, so be careful. I'm going to be doing some research before I do book that flight, because I don't really want to land and then get shaken all over the place.
That's going to happen to you anyway, earthquake or not. I'm coming to the airport to meet you.
Right, here we go. Number 3. Gohan is a commonly used word in Japan, but what does it mean? A, respect. B, rice. Or C, robot.
Respect.
Are you locking that in?
Oh, well, I don't want to now because, yes, I am.
Okay, you're wrong. It's rice.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, surely I'd go for something that was not only so iconic as rice, but also is linked to the show in some way.
I've never heard anyone say Gohan for breakfast.
Well, I was looking at the analytics earlier. We don't have many listeners in Japan. Maybe that's all right.
What was there? 1?
So, little tidbit for you, mate. Gohan is the word for steamed rice, and it is also used to mean meal. So that's quite cool, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I've been eating microwaved, haven't I? No wonder I didn't get it.
You've been stealing your flatmates' Gohan from their rice cooker?
Nope. And no.
No. Go back and listen to, what was it, 3 weeks ago, guys?
If you want.
We've only got 2 questions left, and you've got to get 3 points. Alun.
Oh, I've got 1 point, though.
You have. All right, I've got high hopes.
I need to get these right, do I?
We'd all prefer it, yeah. Because otherwise it's going to be pretty boring when I'm in Japan if we're not getting the Shinkansen, isn't it? Here we go. Number 4. Ekiben is a Japanese portmanteau and popular food item, but where would you normally eat it? Is it A, on a train? Is it B, at home? Or is it C, in a restaurant?
Ekiben.
Ekiben. Often spell E-K-I-B-E-N. Ekiben.
All right. I've never heard a restaurant be tied to anything that could be those prefixes or suffixes, so I'm going to rule out restaurant.
Okay, I like where you're going with this.
I don't know what the Japanese word for home is.
Okay. Nor do I, actually.
I think that I know the word Shinkansen or kansen or whatever means train, and that's the suffix at the end of the word. So I'm going to go train.
It is train. It is train. I don't know how the hell you got there with that logic, but yeah, it is. It is on a train.
Because it's the only word that I know is kansen.
Right. What, an ekiben?
Is that Japanese for train?
I don't know what the Japanese word for train is. I probably did at one point in time.
Well, go to school. Because you said it was a portmanteau. So it had to be the word for train and the word for something else smashed together.
Yeah, so this is where it gets interesting. Ekiben, well, I mean, I can deduce from what you've just said that you don't know what the two words are. But ekiben is a portmanteau because it is eki, which means train station in Japanese, and ben, which is an abbreviation of bento,
From bento,
meaning bento box, boxed lunch or meal. So,
well, it doesn't matter how you work it out. It matters what you say when it counts. So,
yeah. And on this quiz, we always take your last answer. So yeah, we're going to be getting an eki. Well, if we go on a Shinkansen, if you manage to get this next one right, we'll be getting an ekiben, mate. So you go to the train station, you go to one of the various sort of shops providers there. You pick yourself up a little bento box, which has often got a bit of sushi in it, rice, whatever, some regional goodness, and then you eat it on the train.
I do that anyway, but I just eat them at home.
So it's called whatever the Japanese word is for home, and then ben. Here we go. Number 5. Oh, God. Come on, please. Let's do it. I love riding the Shinkansen. You ready?
Yeah.
The Japanese are known for being incredibly polite and respectful. But what is the Japanese...
Incorrect.
But what is the Japanese word used to say, excuse me, or I'm sorry? Is it A, in my most offensive Japanese accent, is it me? Am I going to do it? You always do the Australian one. It's fine, isn't it? Is it different because it's Asian?
Yeah. No.
No, not at all. Is it A, ohayo gozaimasu? Is it B, sumimasen? Is it D, arigatou gozaimasu? Or is it D, onegaishimasu?
It's either B or D.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't offensive enough, I can read them again.
It's either B or D.
Okay. So I'm going to need...
Onegaishimasu, I think I've heard.
Mm-hmm. You'd hope so. They are said every day by everyone, probably.
All of them.
I mean, my time in Japan, and I'm going to have to go on record saying this. When you go into shops or convenience stores or restaurants, or probably even the bank and stuff, the interactions that you have with people are quite almost like scripted and rigid. Like the people in those positions say the same things to their customers all the time. So, like, I guess you've got to break through that like weird small talk in order to find out who someone is or whatever.
Yeah.
I just don't think that happens in Japan as much as it does in the West. You don't go and strike up conversation with someone who works in the shop. You say your thing, they say their thing, and then you leave. So,
and then you kiss. Yeah. Would I be right in saying that you might hear onegaishimasu in a restaurant?
Yeah, but you definitely also hear the correct answer in a restaurant.
I was going to say it wasn't D.
Cool. Not bad.
Because I think onegaishimasu means like, I think you'd say it when you were given food.
Would you?
But by process of elimination, obviously it's not arigatou gozaimasu. Onegaishimasu is the only one that's throwing me off, but I do think that it's very restaurant contextual, because I think the girl that told me in a restaurant, so I might be getting confused there. B is the one that really sings out as being the word that feels most familiar and fills me with a sense of pride. Like, yes, that person should have apologized to me. So I'm going to say, what was B again? Give me this. What does it sound like?
Sumimasen.
That is what the kind of thing you would say if you like tripped over me. Or I'm going to go with B, Adam. I'm nervous about it, but I'm going to go for B.
You're right, mate. Excuse me, or I'm sorry, is sumimasen, and it's definitely something that you should know. I'm sure there's people at home that already know that anyway, but if you're going to put your hand up in a restaurant and call for some for some water or whatever, or waiter or waitress to come over, or if you bump into someone on the train, you just say sumimasen, which is often pronounced like suimasen.
What's onegaishimasu then?
Please.
Yeah, that's definitely, I'd always say that in a restaurant. And I wouldn't say excuse me, really, actually, because I think it's a bit disrespectful.
Onegaishimasu, you definitely say if you're asking for something, but kudasai is also another word for please in Japanese, which you might also have heard of.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, mate, I think that was a bit of a masterclass in muddling your way through something that you know nothing about and still getting a reasonable outcome.
Well, no, I think you've done incredibly well.
Bullshitting.
I think you've done incredibly well. The thing hasn't finished because I have also got a bonus question and then also a cool little bit of information for you, because I know you are a fan of language in general. So here we go for the bonus question, because you've already achieved it. We are going on a Shinkansen. We are going to have an ekiben. Look forward to some videos of that in the next couple of weeks, guys. But here we go. The bonus question. I've gone like super presentery, haven't I? Could I get a job on a show?
Yeah, for a long time now, for multiple episodes.
You need to knock my confidence down again. Here we go. Bingo. The Japanese practice of harahachibu describes what? Is it A, finding beauty in imperfection, impermanence, or simplicity? B, the art of repairing broken pottery with gold? C, forest bathing, immersing yourself in nature for mental clarity? Or D, eating until you're 80% full?
I know that the art of breaking things and repairing them with gold is called kintsugi.
Very cool. I love that you knew that.
Thank you. Yeah, I know it because of a reason that I'm not willing to disclose. I don't know the answer to your question. It's either the last one or the forest one. I'm going to plump for the forest one.
Damn, it's actually eating until you're 80% full. How funny is that?
It's the last one. I knew from the way you said it, it was either the last one or the forest one. So it was 50-50 shot for me.
It's pretty Japanese as well, that, isn't it? Eating everything in moderation. The people down in Okinawa, of course, I think that's where the most, what are they called? Centenarians or something? People that reach 100 years old, basically blue zones and stuff. A lot of them are there, and I'm sure that they eat things in moderation. So my grandma, she always used to say to me, you should always leave the table feeling like you could have eaten a little bit more, which is something I haven't employed for literally my entire life.
No, that's true. I did see a little bottle with a medical sign on it at the 7-Eleven today, and I translated it, and it said, if you've eaten too much.
That's what it does. So it's like a digestive thing.
All I can tell you is there's a bottle with a little medical sign on it, like a little heart or something.
Yeah.
I scanned it with my translator. It changed the title to English, as the translators want to do. It just said, if you've eaten too much.
Oh, cool. So it's like, what are they called? Those little renny things? They're digestive.
Yeah, I use it as a suppository.
Yeah. What's the word for those things that help you digest food?
A digestive biscuit.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's pretty cool. The forest bathing one, mate, is called Shinrin-yoku. And the other one, the first one, is wabi-sabi, of course, finding beauty in imperfection. Here's the interesting fact, though, because we're...
I wabi-sabi you a little bit.
You mean you find beauty in imperfection?
Yeah, do you wabi-sabi me?
I've wabi-sabi'd you. I've completed it.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you poured wasabi all over me as well?
Oh, dear. Yeah. Putting radish on the horse, as it were. Don't read into that joke. Don't read into that joke.
Can if you want.
God, there's so many things I want to say, but I know your mum listens to the show. Here we go. The interesting fact is that Japanese is one of the most fast-paced spoken languages in the world. In 2011, a group of French linguists conducted a study where they attempted to measure the average speed of languages around the world. They discovered that Japanese has a spoken syllable rate of nearly 8 syllables per second, which beats Spanish, French, and Italian. But they also discovered in the same study that Japan has the lowest amount of information density per second. So what that means is, while you can say a lot of stuff in Japanese, you also don't really give much information. And it's not that surprising, because it can take up to 8 syllables just to politely say you didn't eat something, which apparently is tabimasen deshita.
I mean, it's a bit high and mighty, maybe, because it took you 6 syllables to say it.
To say I did not eat.
I didn't eat something.
I did not eat. I think you can say that. I did not eat. I did not eat. Don't prove me wrong on the show, live on air.
Yeah, but it's just a bit like these scientists, like, oh, Japanese people, 8 syllables to say I didn't eat anything. Oh, what a bunch of low-brow people speaking fast and not saying much of any value. We got it done in 2 less syllables, and it took us twice as long.
Take it out with Vagabot. Apparently, they found that Vietnamese, Mandarin Chinese, and English have the highest rates of information shared per second, while maintaining some of the slowest spoken syllables per second. There you have it, mate. That's it. Job done.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that I defeated you, and I'm glad that you'll be taking me on a Shinkansen. That's not my birthday present, though.
No, it's not, actually. Your birthday present is getting more and more expensive the more time I spend thinking about it. And it's...
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's going to be amazing, because there isn't someone else that's going to be there who's going to do this for you. I'm taking the responsibility of making sure that you have exactly the birthday that everyone you know would have given you. But it's just going to be me, I'm afraid. So we're going to do a little bit of everything. We're going to do some stuff.
Well, because the last birthday that we spent together, we went out in India, didn't we?
Yes. Oh, well, yeah, we went for a meal, didn't we?
And the burden was shared between you and my then partner.
Yeah, and we went out for a nice meal, didn't we? Decent restaurant.
Yeah. Did you split the bill, you and her? Or did you pay for it?
Well, it's only a couple of chickpeas and a bit of bread.
Yeah.
No, we're going to have a ball, mate. We're going to have a ball. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to do some cool stuff. I'm not going to give anything away on air because I haven't even told you what we're going to do yet. But I might need to just for you to tell me that we can probably split it over 2 days. And then...
We can split the bill as well if that's what you're worried about.
No, it's your birthday. It's your birthday.
I know, but you're taking me on a Shinkansen.
Yeah, because you won. You did... you answered the correct number of questions.
3 questions right. Yeah.
I don't make the rules.
It's the easiest $100 I've ever made. Fucking Christ.
We're only going one stop. It'll be about $20. It'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Just leaving Tokyo Station, then pressing the button. Let me out.
That's it, guys. So, I mean, what more can we say other than thank you, New Zealand? I've had an amazing time here.
Yes. Well, I've actually got a little present for you. I've prepared a full-length hacker to say thank you for the time you spent in New Zealand.
You can't say that. You can't say full-length hacker anymore.
Can you not? I'm surprised you didn't get a tattoo while you were in New Zealand.
Okay. Well, I'm not naked, so you don't know that I didn't.
I do, because I would sense something different about you if you had. And also, your anxiety. I know I would have got a message asking, like, can tattoos kill you? If you like, if it goes wrong, is this red spot mean I'm about to die? Alan, did you think the ink might have got into my brain and made me less intelligent? I know that you've not got a tattoo.
Well, sometimes a red spot does mean you're about to die, especially if it's a laser that's focused on your forehead. But
Well, that line I got on my foot in the Philippines.
Yeah, my God. What people that are still listening to the show now, this is basically feeling very Lost and Found Patreon-esque.
So if you enjoyed it, then great. If you fucking thought it was bullshit and you signed off ages ago, don't bother with the Patreon section.
No, but I was going to say, it's funny that you should say that because a friend of the show, one of our good friends, who we do talk to, both of us, independently of one another, is a tattoo artist. And I spoke to her on the phone a couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
And she said... I bet you don't have any tattoos. You just look like... From what I know about you, I just don't think you do.
You say we both talk to them independently. I've never met them. And I've maybe sent them a message once saying, I think your comedy's good.
Well, yeah. That's okay.
It's not a deep friendship.
Well, could you edit the show so that what I said is correct in your perception of reality? And
Perfect.
And then we'll go from there. But of course, I wouldn't get any tattoos because I'm on my way to Japan. And if you have tattoos, sometimes you can't go in the public baths, which we know I love doing.
They say that, but I slipped into a no tattoo spa.
Okay.
With my body.
With your skin-coloured socks.
Yeah, no. I didn't cover my... Adam says that because my tattoos are located on my feet. But they let me in.
Well, is that something you're willing to tell people they should try, I suppose?
I don't think it's a problem anymore. I think they know that foreigners have tattoos, and really, unless it's something offensive, I don't think they care.
But they still let you in with yours.
Yeah, I know mine are a little bit risque, but they just let me in, yeah.
Well, I hope we're going to go to some onsen. We probably won't be taking any videos in there, but we will take some on the Shinkansen of the ekiben. And that's it, guys. This has been New Zealand. I've loved it. I really have loved it. And maybe we'll have another little chat about how I'm feeling emotionally. I'll sort of break down live on air. So if you want to see that sort of stuff...
we can do that in Patreon if you want. You want to talk about how you feel?
It's worth paying for. It just hasn't hit me yet. I know that in a couple of weeks I'm going to be like, oh, fuck. That's like a really amazing chapter of my life that is now over. So...
We have gone very Patreon in this episode. We need to actually go to the Patreon section and do it over there, don't we?
Yeah, so let's do that. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. Hope you got 7 out of 7 or whatever the bloody score was. And we'll see you on the next one. Ciao.
See you later. Bye-bye.